Education, Laurie Kilmartin.
Nonchalant gum chewing from Laurie Kilmartin, ladies and gentlemen.
It's out. I took the gum out. I just had salmon. I had some salmon from
Wild Alaskan by any
sponsors.
chance? Yeah, I bet. Delicious. I had a brisket sandwich, and Andy had a catfish po' boy from Mom's House. Go to Mom's House, you guys, on Van Owen and Hazeltine. It's delicious.
Okay.
There you go. Now they've gotten a free ad. Hello, Laurie Kilmartin.
Ugh. I want it. You before we started this, you're like, I'm blurry. I'm like, I want to be blurry. Why do I have to be seen? Why do we have to zoom every one of these? Can I just look like total shit and not worry about it?
Well, at least you're comparing yourself to me. Really? Out loud? Out loud. You're not doing anything. It turns out I'm having a committee meeting in my head.
Wow, you really twisted my words against yourself.
As per usual, it's how to make myself a victim. Yeah, no, I'm tie. I'm super tired here over this angle over here. I did the Royal Oak. We talked. That was it was fun.
How did the rest of the week go? Didn't we talk on a Saturday?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was great actually. It was and then Brian Regan showed up and hung out, and that was super fun. And then Sunday I went to Milwaukee. Wait, we might have done it on Sunday. I think we might have done it last Sunday.
I think we did. I do remember hearing about Brian Regan.
And then I just had a lot of it was, here's what it is. It was, I spent 4 days with various family members and old friends from college and stuff, and it was great.
Yeah.
I still don't want to, I don't know how I did 6 weeks on the road, never coming home. It was like,
since you were married, you've done that?
No, this was back, from, I would say, from when I moved to LA from 97 to 2003. I would either go on 6-week runs or 10-week runs. Yeah. And I don't know if you ever played hacky sack, and I know you have not, but you have to touch the ground in between every kick because it gets your balance back, even if you just touch it for the tiniest second. And that is how I felt. I felt like I had not touched ground, even though I was surrounded by loved ones, surrounded by
in their homes where they're feeling cozy, and you are living out of a suitcase.
I actually in Milwaukee just stayed at a Hampton Inn because I didn't know if I was dragging Omicron with me. And then I wanted the good Wi-Fi. I wanted a place to essentially
take a bath, right?
Yeah, to take baths and hang out, and it was nice. And I spent some quantity time with my father. Yes, enabling me to get some good quality time in there as well. But there was a lot. It was a fair amount of me. I'm essentially running a cameo. A one-on-one cameo account for Elliot Cation with the paintings and the cash flow.
And managing his sales and his output.
Yeah, and then getting him the money from these people, and so
does he have a cameo?
No, he doesn't. He has a flip phone. So
I know, but you could get him a desktop, or he could get a desktop and actually.
Well, he has a tablet.
Okay,
and he can check it. Yeah, it feels ambitious, quite honestly. But
I think he'd be into it.
He might be. It was but he did the one he did this weekend that just I have to he's gonna mail it to me is this guy. I have a brand new joke about these Derringers that my dad bought one time.
Oh yeah.
And and my dad's never heard the joke. But this guy has heard the joke, and he was like, "Can I get a painting of those Derringers?" And so my dad's like, "Why am I painting guns?" I was like, "Just paint the guns, Dad. Here's a couple of pictures of what."
Do your job, Dad. Paint the gun.
I doubled his prices because I've decided that he is 84. He could probably, and for $100 to get a custom painting. That, by the way, I am getting no kickback on any of this. I am brokering all of these deals. And I was like, I need him to make more money if I'm going to be brokering these deals. And so I told the guy it was $200 instead of $100, and he didn't even blink, and he threw in $20 for shipping.
Holy shit.
And I was like, all right, Rockefeller, thank you.
I listed thousands of my dad's books on Amazon when he was alive, like
right,
even before he got cancer. You know,
okay,
he was just trying to like get rid of something. Like he had just insisted they couldn't be thrown away because they're so valuable. So and some of them were a lot of them were ISBN, you know, that sort of way of tracking books and categorizing them. So I would just have to go in and like add all the publishing date and the publisher manually and stuff, and then try to find other books that were like that and figure out how much to sell it for.
Right. And then you had to pack them and ship them?
No, he would pack and ship, and I would let him know when he had a sale, and he would ship. But he got so happy when anyone bought one of his books.
Right.
Like his lifetime of hoarding had been vindicated. One person in South Korea bought an engineering book.
Right. It is vindicated. You know, and I bought merch for 2 weeks. Everybody's a fan of yours over at the Royal Oak, and Comedy on State couldn't stop talking about you.
I love Comedy on State. Is the booker a fan of me at Royal Oak? Because that's the person that matters.
I know. He didn't stop by, but your name could be invoked at a later date. He's Mark Ridley's, he's famous for only booking in September, the whole year. He books the whole year.
One of those.
He's one of those guys. But and then Comedy on State, they were gushing about you. You were a hit.
I had a good time.
It was great. And Rachel Mack featured for me.
Oh, cool.
And she was great. And it was, remember a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about features doing crowd work and using your words and having a hard time. I have a hard time, and I don't know, I think you do too, but I wouldn't want to say you did, but I have a hard time telling other comics what to do before me, because
I assume a certain level of common sense.
Yeah.
And then when they don't have it, it's like, oh shit.
Well, no, and I always think, well, it's their time. They do whatever they want. Right. But so Thursday she did a lot of crowd work. And so Friday I was like, why don't I just tell her that I don't want her to do crowd work if she could do, or just very little crowd work. Some of her stuff does have interactive and needs some crowd work. And it was and it was great. And it also made her do different bits, and I was psyched because I liked all of her different material. It was all very interesting.
Oh yeah, she's great.
And
no,
really
my
funny.
thing is I want a completely virgin audience. Okay. I don't want anyone that's been ridden. I don't want anyone that's been broken in. I want like
you just want them warmed up. That's all.
Yeah, I don't want to go
in the direction of you.
Yes, where the audience already knows things about somebody that the other comics found out. I don't want that. I want to find it out, and then I can react organically. I don't want to go. It feels like I'm coasting off of somebody else's stuff, and I don't like that. I would rather I want them. Them untouched.
Yeah, right. You don't want it's there was Rachel has this joke about abortion that is so dark and so interesting, and Kyle stormed out because of it. But the weird thing is the audience, some of the audience got a little tight on her.
I bet.
And so
I had a guy at Madison come up to me after the show, an old guy, probably in a chair maybe. So I liked when you talk to the people, but the more of that and less the material.
Oh, so sad, too bad. Boo.
Oh, well, keep rolling, buddy. Keep rolling.
But I sold almost all of my merch.
That's cool.
I ran out of stuff before I got to Madison. So that's another reason not to go out for 2 weeks in a row, is that I don't have sizes of shirts. But I'm going to St. Louis with Maria on Thursday. And,
you're back home right now.
I'm home. I just got home like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
And
what did you fly Delta and were you bumped up?
I flew Delta and I was bumped up on the way there. That was kind of exciting. To Detroit. I was first class, but not flat. And then
you're going back pretty far, right? You're not flat, but you're like,
but
your legs
still
are kicked out, right?
Yeah, legs are kicked out, and I was able to sleep. Today at the Delta Sky Club, get this, I asked at the Delta Sky Club today if they had a Delta mask that I could have, because it would make me laugh to wear a Delta mask. And the woman at the Sky Club was like, if you give me your address, I'll find one. And I said, really? And so I gave her my address.
Wow, so you gave this lady extra homework. Have a dumb mask that's not going to stop any aerosol.
Oh my God, you were right. I didn't even tip her. What an asshole. I'm so sad. What an idiot. Okay. Oops.
Hope she's on her Delta Sky Club podcast
talking about this idiot and then doxing me, going, why don't you just send her why don't you send her a mouse or something?
He wants a cloth mask when only N95s work. Okay, I'll get right on it, Miss Kate.
Staff's wearing N95s. So I did take a test when I landed in Milwaukee.
Okay, cool.
Just took out a rapid and I was fine. So that was good.
My son had a friend over and they have started a YouTube channel and they made a really dumb video. But we rapid tested and his mom and me and this other kid's mom and had flung the doors open, ran the air purifiers, and I'm assuming everything was okay. But it was, this other kid's an only child as well, and only kids have just been, I don't know,
right, just isolated
parents for fucking 2 years. It's bad. So anyway, I think they had a really good time.
There's no reason. We went and saw a movie and my nephew wore one of those fancy 3M N95s that you gave me.
Yeah.
My nephew, Eric, he was like, I have a couple of these. I wear them to class. He's got like some IT crypto. He wants to go into crypto programming.
No.
Like anti.
No.
Oh, he's a nerd.
Oh man,
and, they're all nerds. It's
right. I know.
Yeah,
just such I don't know. It just seems like the end of the world. Crypto and NFTs and
no. It's a programming. It's security, like bank security, to make sure that your stuff doesn't get hacked.
Okay.
It's what Darla's partner does for a living as well, and I think it pays a giant Scrooge McDuck pile of money. So, I mean, my nephew is fine, but they're all fine. It turns out I'm surrounded by people who are really good at making money, and I'm getting better at it every year. And it's so funny because a bunch of my friends are like, literally, Andy's friends and my friends in the last 2 weeks only talking about retirement.
Really?
Yeah. And Andy picked me up at the airport tonight, and he goes, I'm just starting to get a handle on this. I'm not ready to retire. And I was like, yeah, I know. I'm with you. I'm starting to get some momentum. So
yeah, I know what you mean. I started writing with somebody. It was their idea, and they just wanted sort of my input based on my background, like that I would be able to provide some some feedback that they don't have because they're not female or a mom or a single mom or anything like that, right? So we started working together, and it's like, I'm like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah. You can.
It seems like it's such a different skill, and anytime it's a different thing, like going from stand up to just like late night writing, I was like, oh, how is that? I don't know how. I don't understand it. What's that jump like? And then you do it, you're like, oh, all right, it's totally doable.
Yeah, and it's a learned skill. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, and this felt like the same thing of like, oh, we just going scene by scene and going, well, wait, how would this happen if this happens? And then, you're like, oh, I don't know. And then one of you goes, wait. And then it's like, oh yeah, okay. And then you just sort of rearrange things a little bit. And yeah.
It seems to be a bit of a team sport. I don't know anything about it myself, but yeah.
I think well, in this case it is. I mean, I think you can always write you have to write your own spec script, of course. And I guess I will have to write another one when we're done with this thing. But we're going to pitch it to he has like a connection with a pretty well-known
pile of humans.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have a place to pitch it, is what I'm saying.
And I'm constantly reminding you that that person has a deal.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And so
yeah. But anyway, should I wait? It's
type something. Something is typing.
Hold on.
Typing is I know it. Very exciting.
You know that.
Oh,
guy.
Yeah. That is, yeah. That's neat.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we'll see, and if it would be great to be paid to actually write a pilot this year. That would be really cool,
That would be. It would be really cool for any number of reasons.
For a number, yes. Any number, as long as it's the number that gets me health insurance for another number that I want. But also, it's like, oh, okay. So once you start like being able to see yourself do something, it's obviously it's a little easier to do.
Yeah. I had a lot of people in the audience who, it was weird because remember last week I was talking about how some of the sets were kind of messy because I was trying to do a lot of newer stuff because we're in an arms race that you don't know that we're in because you have a lot more new material than I do. And but so this week I got to do I'm working off of a couple of different premises, and then I have a bunch of new weird sort of mask vaccine, kind of really brand new, like no reason. It'll hopefully be completely obsolete in 3 months, I'm hoping.
That's the thing with like COVID material. Like my mom's stuff is staying pretty consistent, but I have this opening joke that isn't working. And like I had to change the joke a lot because the way everyone felt about COVID was changing. Right. And it's like, I don't want to invest. It's become like topical stuff. Like, I don't want to invest any more of my energy writing current COVID material. If I riff something off the top of my head, fine. But like, it's because, like before Omicron, we were all like, all right, it's over for us if you're vaccinated, pretty much.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're unvaccinated, we don't really have to worry about you. And then all of a sudden now we do, and we're all getting it. And so I don't know, it was interesting to see because a joke, that thing that I can't talk about till it airs.
Yes.
With this.
Yeah, that fancy.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you didn't have to do that.
We're aware.
When that comes out, we're all gonna just be. I mean, I'll be shouting it from the rooftops. Well, I kept that picture that was accidentally posted.
Oh yeah, me too.
It's on my phone, and I occasionally just look at it.
You're on new material. You're like, that fucking bitch. I'll get her. I feel it.
So good.
Back off,
no, I'm not going to ever post it. I look at it and go, how cool was this? Anyway.
Well, you can when it all comes. But anyway, right. So I did a joke, and that was like in October, in which that was pre-Omicron and wasn't even a variant yet. And so if they choose to air that joke in April, it's just going to make no sense.
It might be super weird.
But it killed then.
Which one was it?
It's just that mask joke I say when I open up,
Oh, about wearing the mask and being in the store? Okay. Down sort of Orange County? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I changed the location depending where I am. That's a variable I'll change, Jackie.
That's what, sure. You got to put the windmill where you need it.
But it was just like a dumb little opening joke, right? Just, a comment on these times. And then it kind of like, I had to switch it, almost like reverse the joke afterwards. And then I was like, why am I'm done with this topic.
Well, I was not talking about it at all. And then the feature kid, the feature guy for Royal Oak was sort of poking at them and just, essentially talking to them about masks and talking to them about vaccination. And so by the time I got up, I was like, well, I could tell that weird story about that weird lady on the first Delta flight who was talking about babies. Billionaires taking the blood of babies. And she was reading a Time magazine article that said that there was some new science experiment that they were trying to figure out if you put young people's blood into old people's blood, if it would stop also. Yeah. And she was it was such a surreal experience flying that first time anyway.
Right.
That then she's talking about billionaires and babies hooked up to billionaires. And I was like, that's a movie. It's not real. I'm trying to talk her down with the, with a seat in between us, and we're both in masks. And it was hard to, and then, so I don't know. Madison was fascinating. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, we'll go back to that in a second, but were there air purified? Because I know apparently like TJ Miller brought air purifiers to Royal Oak before he got COVID. Like he was real careful at some point. Were there air purifiers there, or did he just bring his own? Like, did you have any on stage with you?
There was one in the green room. There was a HEPA, like an air purifier, and there was nothing in the room. But I know that Comedy on State had a new system put in.
Oh,
they had a whole system put in when they did the redo.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Which is kind of amazing.
Yeah. That's great. Because they used to do that with smoking. They'd have a smoking section, but then they put in those little, I don't know what they were. They made those little like clicking noises. You could, do you remember hearing those when you're on stage? They're trying to smoke eaters or whatever they were called.
I can't remember them, but all I know is I was in, I went into my dad's apartment building and everybody smokes there.
Wow.
They're all, and so it just reeks of cigarette smoke.
Wow.
And I remember when my dad used to smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day, and he stopped when he retired because they were $6 a pack. And he was like, I'm not paying that. And that was the whole thing. I was like, you could have quit at any time.
How long did he smoke for? Till what age?
Until he was probably 70.
What the fuck? My dad quit when he was 40 and he died of lung cancer.
Yeah, my dad started when he was like 13 or 14. No, there's any number of things that aren't.
I know. I was just thinking, my dad would be 91 right now. I don't know. I have no idea what he would be like or what COVID would have done to him or Trump or anything. I missed all of that.
Right. But maybe that's good. Because Trump might have been grim, might have ruined.
But he would always fold when I would talk to him face to face. Yeah.
So maybe he would have saved your mom.
I don't know.
Yeah, can't speculate.
Well, I mean, they both lived into their 80s, and that's fine and good for them.
Right.
That's a win.
Howard Hessman died.
This is the dead people section of our podcast.
Right. Yeah. A couple of my friends are in trouble. But the aging process is inexorable. So
it really is. It really is. We're all gonna die.
Hey, so well, and I have to say that so I did. So I'm getting tapes of Friday Bull shows and Saturday Bull shows, because Friday Bull shows, they were those hilarious audiences that were, I mean, they're also maddening. If you and the Cosmo, the kid, the guy that was emceeing, he's a very funny guy and super high energy. And he would wind him up and get him set up, and Rachel would go out and she'd do great. And Friday, first show was the worst. It was one of those ones where you tell the joke and they'd laugh and they'd shut down.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to rebuild the ark and get them on the boat. And then they get off the boat. And it was like the dumbest. I couldn't stop laughing because I knew that they were both very funny. Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is pulling some teeth, you guys. I'm so sorry. And then I got up and I did good, but it made me super loose. because there's nothing you could do about an audience like that. You could berate them a little bit,
No.
and then you could just sort of do your song and dance, and then
They,
just
they think they had a good time. They think that we're a good crowd.
Yep.
They won't understand your hostility.
right.
Like
So
laugh
and
and then they pause so you can continue telling a joke.
yeah, there was a couple. I had a couple of audience members that were super interactive, and I finally had to go. Love. It was second show where the audience was doing this other thing where they were kind of laughing. They were laughing soft, right? It was Friday second show. No, Saturday second show, and there was one woman. Whatever it was, there was one woman who was laughing like you want everyone to laugh.
Yeah.
But she was the only one doing it. And so it was making the people around her self-conscious and uncomfortable. And finally, I just said, you are correct. You are doing the right thing right now. And these people are all wrong. So you're my favorite. So, and everyone was super nice. That audience, that club, that staff, right. It's gorgeous.
And the tape, the videotape they give you is gorgeous. Like,
good.
Yeah, he cuts between different shots and stuff. It's like it's edited. It's like
right.
It's amazing. Yeah.
He's got chops. He's like 1, 3, 1, 2, 1.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's Alec. Yeah. It was super fun. And what did I did a lot of driving. Once I got to Madison, I drove back to Milwaukee a couple of times and went to church this morning. Didn't stay because church is long. So I just said hi to my dad, my brother, my sister-in-law, my nephews were on the altar. So I then went to the airport and flew away.
Nice. They're altar boys.
They're deacons now, I guess, or they're assistant deacons or whatever the hell they are. They're coming along. They know Jesus now. They first name basis.
I've done a very poor job with my son. It's really.
He is a very nice young man. How so?
Oh, he doesn't, like his.
Oh, with the Jesus.
Oh yeah, well, his dad was back in Texas where the rest of his family is, and there's some Bible thumping happening there, and it is, but it's not happening here at all.
No,
like, my son started at atheist level and is moving beyond that. I don't even know.
It's almost a full circle. Be very careful.
No, he almost believes in crypto. Like that's how. But so let me I have this just a personal opinion.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but
you don't sound like you believe it. Yes, go ahead.
I worked with a comedian recently who does an impression of another comedian in his act. Okay. And I don't think that's cool. Because I feel like this isn't like doing a Bob Hope impression where the guy's, dead or whatever, although no one knows who Bob Hope is. It's doing an impression of another working comic.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like.
Don't you remember though?
What?
Do you remember back? Let
me finish this thought.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
That person worked for X amount of years to create their voice and their point of view, and you're kind of stealing it for your set, which is really,
for sure. For sure.
Really, I can understand, like, it's a famous comic too. So I can understand, like, say on SNL, if this person's famous, it's not Chappelle. So let's say it was Chappelle. If you're in a sketch and you're going to do a Chappelle voice, you're going to do a Chappelle impression because Chappelle's famous. But to do it in your own stand-up set, to do someone else's voice, it's like, no, it's cheating big time.
Well, it's
I don't know.
It has been hacked so bad because here's what I remember is in Milwaukee and when I was doing the road in the Midwest, there were a lot of comics and they were Black comics because they were doing impressions of Bill Cosby.
Right. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes, that was a huge thing. Yes.
That was a huge thing. And it was a thing all through the early 90s and late 80s.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was before that or after that. I stopped seeing it in the mid 80s, like early mid 80s. I stopped seeing comics doing that because I think it just got so hacked, but it was a comic doing an impression of it, like his pudding pop thing.
What are you doing? No one's going to put you on TV for doing an impression of a comic that also appears on their show.
Right.
No,
And
like
it's just fan serve at that point. You're like, write
Yeah.
your own material. You know, I get it. You like that comic. That's great. But just talk about your experience. You don't have to talk about
totally crib there. If you're going to crib, like, I know,
you're
like,
gonna
there's a
steal their
million
material.
comics that, sounded like Dave Attell. They didn't go, oh, here's my Dave Attell impression. They literally stole Dave Attell's cadence. Okay, that's at least at least you're doing your own material on someone else's cadence. I don't know. It's just like it doesn't sit right with me. But I'm
Right.
not. There's no board of comedy where I would.
There's no one to talk to.
Yeah.
There's no one to talk to. Hey, let's take a quick break
Okay.
and let's do comic of the week.
Yeah.
So I was on, it was called like Dudes of Cinema or something. And it's a podcast.
I'm doing
good, because they wanted you to do it as well.
Yeah.
And there are two Australian comics. And we had the other host 2 weeks ago. Becca Charwood was the comic of the week 2 weeks ago. And this week it's Alex J. Alex J is the other host, and she is also very funny. And is it JAE? Is that how her Twitter handle is?
It's I always get it wrong. So yeah, JAE.
Okay, so Alex ALEX JAE, correct?
Yeah, yes, very much so. And she's very funny. When she was in America for a few years, we were very good friends. She's a very funny comedian.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
and
she was here for a couple of years.
Yeah, pretty early on came out and put a couple of years in. It was really neat to watch. She hustled. It was kind of
Cool,
inspiring to watch.
And I looked at her pinned tweet today. She has I think it's a Sydney one person like solo show coming up. So if you're in Sydney, go see Alex J and also book us.
Right. I'll fly out there Southwest. You know I will. Yeah.
Oh my God, I will not.
Jenna Friedman is like she's like I think she's doing the British model now.
Nice.
With a new hour every year.
Yeah, well she's selling I think she has shows at Union Hall in Manhattan or in New York. But it could be a different venue that I have slotted in the same place where I put Union Hall. But she was like, I'm preparing my new hour. And I'm like, I like it, you know, putting it that way is kind of exciting. Because I mean, technically we're always preparing our new hour, right? But to go, it's gonna have a, you know,
it has the theme.
It has an end date, probably a theme and stuff like that.
Yeah, it might have an arc of some sort. Yeah, that is the British model.
She always does. Yeah.
Yeah. Maria said that she saw her the other night at Dynasty and blew her mind. So yeah, she was like, because Jenna Friedman's stand-up is, and I've said it before, is some of the gutsiest stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
great. She's great. You're a great writer.
It is. But here's my question about Alex J.
Right.
And Becca's podcast. Did you pick a movie?
I did.
What is it?
The Exorcist.
Okay.
Oh, I've never seen it. I've seen enough of the clips to know what it's about, but I have not seen it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it with my son too. But also, we watched Fargo today. He's never seen Fargo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he is 15. He wasn't alive when it came out. It was rated R.
So I was at the Improv on Tuesday, I think. I was doing Rebecca Rush's show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I brought my kid because it was an early show and he likes their pretzels. You know, he only goes to comedy clubs when he likes the food, right? And, he greatly misses comedy and magic, as we all. But so he's sitting there and Troy Conrad's there, you know, taking pictures. Troy's a photographer. He also was the comic and the producer behind Set List and stuff like that.
Creator of Set List and wrote the best set lists. Yes.
Yeah.
And so he goes, hey, do you mind if I take some pictures of your kid because I was going to be in the lab and I wasn't going to be coming back and forth. He was with his iPad. So my son was fine. Right. So I say, yeah. And he took my son out into the street and took some really cool pictures. And, he's 15 and a half or almost 15 and a half. And he's got little mustache hairs coming in and like a little beard, it's all like, it's leaving being a tween behind and heading towards manhood. And the pictures are like, I was like, oh my God, these are amazing.
He is not your baby anymore. He is a man. He is a 6'7" giant man.
No,
is
that's
what you have.
Kyle.
But your
That's
son
his
is
future.
he's gangly a little bit just because he hasn't all filled in, right? Because he's 15.
Yeah.
But he's really tall and he's really broad-shouldered and he's gonna be a big, a big dude, but he is man-sized at this point.
But it was just
a shocker, bit of a shock.
Yeah, it was just like really sweet, I didn't expect it, and I
know you loved them. I know you thought that they were great.
Great for taking them.
No, but I would like to see the pictures because they sound like he did a really good job. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were going to talk about the improv and that, because I know that was in the.
That was a different club.
That was a different club and a different night.
Are we saying this guy? We won't say his name.
I don't know. It's your story. So
all I did, I was watching an actor who also does comedy.
Or just an actor who is on stage.
Listen,
yes.
Very relatable stand-up about being on the set. The crowd full. So, and I was like, what's happening? Because Jackie and Kyle understand, I don't look at men's crotches all the time. Okay.
True.
That's not me.
No.
Not
I
one
was
bit.
watching this guy on TV and I'm like, what is in that? And so I took a picture and I texted to the group, and he is putting something in his crotch. Am I correct?
That was the consensus was that he was wearing a jock strap with something in his crotch,
right?
With like a sock, yeah. Because the thing is we don't. I mean, I will look at a guy's crotch, but only if I've been told to by the male gaze. Have they zoomed in? Does the male gaze want me to look at his crotch? And in this case, from that picture, that dude wanted us to look at his crotch.
Hold on, I'm sending it to Kyle.
Oh, you're gonna text him the picture of the.
Genuinely, thank you.
Okay. Now,
there's shenanigans occurring.
That is happening. That's not right.
That is a jock strap, and there is some sort of situation happening inside of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are 100%. That it doesn't even look good. It looks like something's wrong in there.
No, it looks like he needs to see a doctor immediately.
Looks like he has a goiter.
It looks like he let his balls go.
I cropped it. I sent another one.
Zoom in. Zoom.
Enhance.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah. So, and then so I'm looking forward to St. Louis with Maria this weekend. Because we're doing and it'll be great, and I've got a bunch of new material that I want her to give me some good angles on. So joke machine coming.
Sure.
And I don't know, she might bring her new tiny dog. She has a new tiny dog and she's gonna try to bring on the road like one of those comics.
Yeah.
And it's a super cute little dog.
Do you have to? Was Karen Rontowski saying that she had to pay money to bring her dog on the road with her now? Like $50 or something?
She used to, back in the early days, she had to pay to bring Courage. And then she got the paperwork. And since COVID, there's been a big swap around where you have to pay again. So yeah, you're kind of screwed. So I don't know. Yeah, I remember when Karen got that dog, and I was like, because she was like, it was early days of the term therapy animal or assistant, a dog that helped. And she was like, you can make fun of me about it, but you could if you wanted to, but don't try not to, but you could make fun of me if you wanted, because I know it's weird. And I said, I would say it was weird, Karen Rotowski, if you had not fundamentally changed your personality. Like just much, I mean, it fundamentally made her calmer than she had been for the previous 10 years that I knew her.
Yeah, you know,
It was so soothing. It
it's
was so
stressful to be on the road, and if you can do something like that to make it better. I only object when there's somebody that tends to like bring the dog to the show and make the feature walk it during her act or whatever.
I'm familiar with that.
Not that much, but like
not unless you're willing to tip them out. You got to tip them out if
Sure.
you're gonna
I'm out.
make people. I'm
But,
a huge fan. I
yeah.
texted this person to ask about tipping,
Mhm.
and she told me to tip so much money, and then I did.
But she has a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right, she has more money than I do. But she was
can't
like,
ask rich people about tipping, Jackie.
I know I might have gone to the wrong source, but what it did was it ended up just cutting into the merch money of my merch money.
So-
I still made good money.
So you tipped they helped you with the merch table.
Yeah,
and stuff like that, or?
Well, I tipped the whole staff. She tips the whole staff, which is 10 people, 10 or 13 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they appreciate it, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah. And
I give you $1 for a water, but I usually bring my own water. That's why I'm not beloved.
right.
I tip the housekeeper really well.
Always.
Yeah, but I mean, just overall money at the end of the week. It's
Mhm.
at the moment I'm not, I'm not making enough to.
No, it's all so arbitrary. Stand-up comedy money is so arbitrary.
Right.
It always has been. It doesn't feel like it's going to get standardized anytime soon.
Right.
And did you notice that your sound exchange was not good this month? Mine was not good.
Yeah, it was.
And it was because all my albums are off of Spotify except for Staycation. And who knew that I was making a couple $100, pretty good chunk of change.
I'm not making any Spotify money at all, basically. But it wasn't that. None of my corset money is showing up yet.
Right. Well, and I called Sound Exchange for both of us because none of my staycation money was showing up either. And it was because of the Sound Exchange customer service person told me, he said, it takes 3 to 6 months for the numbers to catch up with it. So we're not going to see it until April or July.
Okay.
So,
right.
But there should be there might be a back pay. I once got and I remember it so fondly. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, and I got 10 grand one month. And I literally called, I called Sound Exchange. I was like, is this an error? Because I know you'll take it back. So let's just find out now. And they're like, it is not. It was a lot of back stuff that they found that had to get paid. And I was like, well, I'm going to throw this at a giant bill and my life is going to be that much better. And so,
heck yeah.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. You want to do another break?
Yeah, let's do that.
What do you got this week?
Do you feel if you have to follow someone that does 7 minutes on titties
Mm-hmm.
and you're next, do you feel like the audience is still in that person's act when you and your titties walk up on stage?
I never think of it like that. I know that that person's titty material is still in my head. It's really weird because when you follow someone who does something, like when the MC does a gross joke. Oh
yeah.
God. Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That guy can suck his own dick. But he's often very, very funny, but sometimes he's just super dirty and it doesn't make any sense to me. So.
Right. Yeah. It was very, but that was really good. And then it's like, what's this? Yeah.
Right. Where you're just like, I mean, I know he's just trying stuff out like the rest of us, but it tends to be really
right
up and I want it to, last week we were talking about bookending. Fucking bookend your damn set for me, at least for me. Work on your new weird titty material in the middle and then close on something that works.
This felt completely honed.
Oh, oh, really?
Hell yeah, it was a closer titty fest.
Oh, my apologies.
But I'm like,
as a person with a cock ring joke at the end of my set right now, I don't have a big leg to stand on or a big cock to stand on.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, but I was sometimes I like when I'm in a bad mood and then I see a few things that bother me. Like had I just walked in the room right before my set, I wouldn't have given a shit, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, but you kind of want to know what's going on, but then when you do, you're like, oh, and I don't want to go on stage with that energy. So maybe there's some people I shouldn't watch at all before I go up on stage.
It's true, but you kind of want to see where they're at. See what the sort of
stuff.
You got to see how the audience is responding to stuff. You got to feel the energy of the room, and you got to hear what the topics are, the people before you, at least a little bit.
Right.
And so I don't think there's any way to avoid it, though. I think you do these when you follow like someone has done a gross joke, and then the MC will sometimes do a joke in between, and it's so gross. And they're like, and your next comic has the thing that I was just talking about. I was just doing this great twat joke. And then she's got one. Let's bring her up. And then you're like, oh my God, I guess I have to start with brick one. And but I don't, we probably don't. You could just go, well, there's that fucking guy. And I'm going to talk about mice or whatever the fuck, right? I mean, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be. Now, I texted you about this, and this woman came to the show too, and I was so, and I know why she did it. So I did an interview, and she listens to the show, right? So this journalist listens to the show, and I had a wonderful time doing this interview. And at the end of the interview, she said, I know that, the Jackie and Laurie show, that I probably shouldn't ask you this. Somebody hit me upside the head the next time somebody says that to me, because then that's my cue to go, then please don't ask it. Right. There shouldn't be any and I think I know why she asked it. I think she asked it because I think that her audience would want to know why I was working at a place that booked Louis C.K. because it was a Louis C.K. question. Oh, okay. And I have been asked about Louis C.K., much like yourself, much like 1,000 other women comics, and not enough male comics, in my opinion. But
seriously,
right. And so, I was just, I tried to make a joke about it. I did not try to make a joke about it. I addressed it as seriously as I could, and I was just like, the great punishment for Louis C.K., I genuinely believe this, is his fan base that he now has. That is his punishment.
Right.
And and when Bill Cosby starts going on the road again, because he's out of prison now, clubs will book him.
Maybe.
He's 100, right?
He's quite blind. I think he's almost blind. Like, I think it would be very difficult for him, even if he wasn't a renowned rapist, if he was just still beloved, I think it'd be difficult for him physically to go out on the road because he's in terrible health.
But if you think about how Sinatra sang long after he could remember the words to My Way.
Right.
So, I think that there's a performance need in some of these comics, right? In some of these people. So, and but I was just, and then she came and said hi, and I wished I could have remembered how much I loved the first 15 minutes of that interview, or the first 10 minutes, and not the last 4.
Right.
And all I could go was, oh, that is you. Hi. So, I really liked her. I was disappointed. I felt ambushed getting the question. And
right.
she knew that she wasn't, that I didn't want, but I think she felt like her listeners would want to know why, right? If I was willing to answer it. And I don't know how I could have been unwilling to answer it. We were on live radio.
Right.
So I could have stormed off the phone. Bam.
But I like the idea of just, I'll go. I'd like to reiterate what, and then insert male comic TBD said, and then just be silent, because
that'd be I wouldn't mind that.
Whatever, just some regular white male comment. What he said, I agree with. What did he say? I don't know. I don't think anyone
Did I tell? Oh, I don't think I did. So I was trying to find my great aunt Alice's condo, and I got lost in Milwaukee, and I ended up doing a U-turn in a grocery store parking lot that put me right in front of the brand new Milwaukee Improv.
Oh,
which is attached to
It's
Ascendix grocery
gigantic?
store. Well, it has giant signs in the parking structure. Big J. Okerson this week. And
Okay.
I was like, and then I saw, and I don't, Big J. Okerson is hilarious, right? And
He is.
but there is a certain there but it was a lot of dudes, is what I was saying.
Je ne
you
sais
could
quoi.
how do I put this? I don't know how to say this, but but yeah, it was definitely, I was like, because I sat there in the parking structure watching the lineup go by,
Oh,
going,
boy. And it was all
oh
guys.
yeah, it was all guys.
Wow.
I think, and then, what it did, and this is never good, it inspired me to go look at the website.
Oh no. Oh no.
And I mean, Whitney Cummings and Margaret Cho are also coming.
So kind of guys, your standard male comics, and then the two female comics are a billionaire and are incredibly famous and should be working theaters. Okay.
Yes. I know. I was like, okay. I mean, and I love the laughing tap, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
So but it is always, because at church everyone was like, are you gonna play that new improv? And I'm like, nope. No.
Yeah.
It's not. Erin likes me. She just doesn't book me, which makes me think she doesn't like me, because this is what I do for a living. But okay, whatever. Just got to plug along.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I don't have any improv bookings on my.
Yeah, I'm going to St. Louis, and then I'm doing Portland next week, and then I'm going to Denver, and then I'm going to DC, and then I'm doing a New England run, and then I'm going to Seattle.
Fuck.
And I would like to lie down.
I am going to be at West Bend at the Bend Theater, and it's in West Bend, Wisconsin. So it's kind of like right between Milwaukee and Appleton.
You go to West Bend?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, when is that?
March. Excuse me.
In March?
Yes. March 5th, one night only.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Please.
Please
if
come.
you. Please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody. It's not that far from Madison.
I know.
So everybody who loved you in Madison, haul ass.
Yeah.
Come out to West Bend. Yeah.
That's
outstanding.
I'll have new tags. I'll have.
You'll have a couple of new premises
in the audience to talk to. I mean,
come on, do it.
But the rest of all of February, I'm home. So, I mean, I guess it's okay. I'm a little I'm jealous of your schedule, but I'm also, I would have anxiety, a little bit of anxiety of traveling for the rest of this month.
Yeah. The Canada was canceled, so I am home the last week of February.
Yeah.
And the next 2 weeks of the Dork Forest are my siblings. Next 3 weeks.
Wow.
Darla, Phil, and then Russ.
Nice. You cornered them at a diner.
I cornered them all over Zoom. I was like, I'm in a Hampton Inn. Can I please record several Dork Forests? And I have a line, but someone requested another episode with Darla, and Phil's been wanting to do it, and Russ and I have been talking for a while about doing one. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, 45 Jokes About My Dead Dad is finally going to be released again.
Where?
It's okay. So the guys who own the stand, they produced my special, right? Yeah. So Chris Italia and Dave Kimowitz, who sadly is no longer with us.
Murdered. Yes.
So Chris is, I can't remember everything, but he has like a new streaming platform.
Okay.
He also bought the Staten Island Ferry, a decommissioned Staten Island Ferry with Pete Davidson and Colin Jost to have like a
like a sunset tour.
Yeah. So, but it's like, wow, here's the thing. The ferry only costs $250,000, right? But like having it someplace, docking it those fees must be incredible, right? And
Right.
the gas or whatever, I have no idea. To me, it seems like massive fees, but hey, it sounds fun. I want to play it.
Yeah.
I want to play the ferry. But they're also partnering with somebody on a streaming platform where they're going to have specials, comedy specials and more.
Okay.
So if you wanted to ever watch it, and it's a little different from the album because it has, as everyone wants,
the interstitial stuff, right?
Special. It has hospice footage and my mom's in it, and let's see, my sister's in it. Conan O'Brien is in it. Patton Oswalt is in it, and Andy Kindler's in it. So,
do you have DVDs of it?
No, I don't.
Okay, because that would be cool. It's my favorite DVDs of Maria is some weird solo show she did back in 2005 called Plan B that she shot in Melbourne. And the DVD bonus are her parents doing DVD commentary.
Oh my God. I think I've heard of this. I love it.
It is my favorite. I mean, the set is fine and amazing, and it's Maria doing an hour. Marilyn and Joel discussing her material over it is outstanding.
Amazing.
So
wow.
But so it's what's the name of the platform that your 45 is going to be on?
It's called Wits, I think.
WITS or Z?
IT. Man, hold on.
Maybe Kyle will put it in the notes.
Yeah.
It's
not up yet. So don't worry about it.
Oh, so look forward to it, and we'll talk about it some more.
I'm just saying they announced it, and then it's called Wits. Will be launching later this year. That's all. So it will be available at some point if people want to watch it. It was shot in 2014, and I don't know.
I had a guy come up to me after the show, said, you do that story, that joke about your dad meeting him at a McDonald's on 76 and Blue Mound. There's no McDonald's on 76 and Blue Mound. And I was like, what? And he goes, there's one on 76 in Greenfield in Milwaukee. And I said, then I probably met that one.
Oh my God.
I don't even know what to do with that.
You know what? I need a new opening joke.
Yeah.
It's really vexing me that I don't have one. I think, and I think it's weird because when I did Corden, I did 2 new jokes on it, like newer stuff that's not on an album, not finished in my opinion.
Yep.
And then I did the Anne Frank joke, which is like completely done now and part of the archive of my life, right? But now I'm like, it feels like the newer ones are like, oh, they're tainted because now they're stamped, and I can't tinker with them, and it's hard for me to like get in there and play with them because I feel like they were seen. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I'm working on that sausage casing bit, which is on the new album and the new special. And
I have no excuse.
I have no excuse except for the fact that I'm like, it's not done. So, and so you can listen to that version of it and then come and see the new version of it. And it almost worked exactly right. Friday first show. And then Saturday first show, I did it so wrong. I became full of rage.
Oh,
and there were several, it manifested itself in me doing some sort of weird historical analogy about sexism and racism that nobody fucking wanted to hear. Actually, that's not true. All of the women in the room wanted to hear it. Very few of the gentlemen did.
Sure.
The men folk, there was some folding of arms. There was a little bit of head shaking at one point from a guy. And I was like, wow, gutsy stuff, brother. All right. But I can't wait to get those videos from Comedy on Stage because I think that there'll be good clips of me just sort of going, come on. Anyway, and then there was a woman in the front row who was so drunk that I ended up telling my 2 DUI stories. So those are always fun. Breaks up the weekend.
Good to know.
We got to be done here. Oh yeah.